Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Heritage. Why don't we stand as we enter into this time of praise and worship together? I'm thankful for a God that is moving, for a God that is faithful, and a God that is always on time. If you've paid attention to our social media platforms, you know we've had some special guests with us this week, doing some great things with our youth. The Praise House. Why don't we lift this up this The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out, working all things out. Oh yes, I will put you high in the Oh, come on, let's lift him up. Let's sing hallelujah. Lift him up this morning, give him praise. This has been a great sermon series from Pastor Bruce, hasn't it? Imitators. As I alluded to last week, it's been great having our kids back in youth service and kids service. I know my kids have missed Pastor Jody, but I knew this week was coming. See, about 13 years ago, I got a phone call from a young associate pastor here who said, I'm going to go to a church in Circleville, and I want you to come with me and help lead worship. That's kind of how I got started here, was from Pastor Aaron. But to make things a little lighter, he said, you weren't my first call, just so you know. To which I said, thanks, Aaron. You're a real friend. He said, I called a young lady from there as well, and maybe you know her. And the two of you maybe can ride share. And as a college kid, man, that's the dream, right? You know, saving some gas money. So I rode for the next 4 years to church in Circleville every Sunday to help lead worship for this lady right here. Jake's playing some sweet notes back there. It's really hitting me kind of hard this morning. And we became good friends. We talked about life. We talked about faith. We talked about Rooster's wings versus B-Dub's wings and UDF coffee. But then she married a young man from this church named Ryan, who happens to be in the Coast Guard. And so I watched as she moved around with Ryan from place to place, right? And I watched as they became invested in their community and in their church, how much they loved everywhere they went. And every time Grace and I, my wife and I, would get with them, we'd just say, man, there's something different, right? Like this, there's this light shining from them. Whenever they talk about their church, their community, their God, there's this light that just shines. And I can't describe it. But I want that. So I tell you this for two reasons this morning. One reason is that if you've noticed, Lindsay's been with us for about a year, and that's because her husband's been stationed somewhere he couldn't take his family. But Ryan's coming home. And they're going to be off to their next... And they're going to be off to their next stop, their next journey. And this is going to be Lindsay's last Sunday here with us on stage. She may be here a couple weeks as they prepare to leave. But if you would, just if you see her in the hallway, if you see she and Ryan together, just tell them thank you, wish them well. But the second reason I tell you that is because I kind of spoke a little bit about that light. A couple weeks ago, Pastor Bruce spoke about imitating light. Remember, he had that flashlight. He just shined it in everybody's face. And at first, I was kind of annoyed, as I'm sure you were as well, because it was kind of half blinding. But I kept coming back to this story about Moses, right? As he comes down from Mount Sinai. He's been up there with God for 40 days and 40 nights. And there's a lot of stuff that he and God talk about. But he comes back down with the 10 Commandments with him. And he comes down and he talks to his people, but his face is shining so bright that they can't even look at him. He has to wear a veil because it's so bright. And I like how one commentary puts it. It's not necessarily in the doing that Moses' face began to shine. It was just in the being, in the resting in front of God's presence at his feet. So I say this for two reasons this morning, or for one big reason this morning. I want you to take this away. As we kind of wrap up our Imitator series today, and it's been an amazing series. If you want to, go online and check out the rest of the sermons. They've been really impactful for me. But I want you to be so in tune with God, resting in his presence, that when you go out, somebody says, I don't know what Mark Hubbard has in his life, but man, I want that. That light that shines from your face. I don't know what Connie Bowen's doing, but man, I want to be like that. That light that she has, I want to be that. So that's my challenge to you this morning. We're going to wrap up this part of our worship set with a song we've done a few times. It's called The Blessing. And sometimes we save these for the ends of services. And I'm going to probably spoil a little bit. We're going to do a little before and a little after. This kind of benediction. But it's kind of fitting because my friend Aaron would always end his sermons with this exact passage. He would say, the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. Yeah, see what I did there? May his face shine upon you. You have come to worship. Now go and serve. So we're going to lift this up this morning. Lord bless you and keep you. Turn his face toward you. We'll lift this up this morning together. Lord